Another week of The Bachelorette in the books. And first off, before we jump into things, how much are we all appreciating Tayshia as our new lead over Claire? This is night and day between both Claire and our last bachelor, Peter. I'm loving Tayshia's season so far, and really just can't wait to watch her entire journey as we progress through the rest of this season. All right, let's talk about 5 things from tonight's episode of The Bachelorette. First up, let's talk about that little gift box that Bennett so kindly gave to young Noah. Bennett has just so quickly turned from Bachelorette fan favorite to Bachelor villain, and I'm suspecting that he is immediately going home at the start of next week's episode because, his behavior just went way over the top. There were so many endearing things about him, but as we progressed through this episode, he was painted as the villain quite thoroughly, and that gift that he gave to Noah just topped things off. Bennett trying to say like, hey, no, I genuinely want to smooth things over with you. I had no idea there was any issue between us. It was all BS. And he keeps trying to put Noah in a situation where, Noah can't come up with an example. And then Noah comes up with an example and Bennett's sitting there and saying things like, actually, I said you had 0% chance of getting with Tayshia, not that there was 100% chance that you wouldn't get with Tayshia. And it's like, come on, man, you got busted, you're full of crap, and you're getting sent home. And the gift was just the icing on the cake. He gave the last part of the gift, the book on emotional intelligence. I just cannot wait for Bennett to be on Paradise with Taylor, and we can just all watch and just see how much emotional intelligence they have together. All right, next up, number 2 on our list tonight. Ladies, generally speaking, if a man ever pulls out his penis in front of you, don't start crying. That's not the reaction that they're looking for. Doesn't matter the situation. Crying, not the way that those situations usually go. It was a bizarrely intimate moment on the tail end of a string of intimate moments, all within that group date. Especially the ones that stick out to me, especially Brendan, even Blake with his story about the turtle doves. I mean, I'm forgetting some, but there was lots of guys who had very, very good self-portraits, and we end with Bennett. And as much as I want to joke about him pulling his penis out and then Tayshia starting to cry, it did lead to him getting that group date. I think a lot of fans out there have been waiting for Ben to get the group date on any of his group dates because he really does have one of the strongest connections with Tayshia, and I think that he actually moved a little closer to the top of the leaderboard in terms of who's going to win Tayshia's heart. Overall, that group date was a step up from our normal group dates, and we did have some of the most deepest little moments of the season, and that's incredible considering that those guys were all pouring their hearts out in front of all those other guys. All right, our third moment, our third thing, Eazy's one-on-one. It was a bad sign when Tayshia was repeatedly running away from Eazy during the date. That was our foreshadowing for the end, and I really felt like Eazy just threw the I'm falling in love with you Hail Mary and the dinner portion of their group date, and you could just see Tayshia's body language, the expression on her face, in that moment, it's done. It's over. Those words came out of Eazy's mouth, and Tayshia was just like, it's done. It's over. So he throws the Hail Mary. It gets intercepted, and he is sent packing. I think that was a little bit of a shocker, but Eazy being what the guys just consider a good guy and what Tayshia is most likely looking for just weren't aligned. I just don't think that she's looking for that loud, upfront, outspoken guy, because all the guys that she's really having a connection with are the ones that she's having the quiet, intimate moments with, which leads us to number 4, our second one-on-one of the list, and that is Zach and Tayshia. First off, before we get into their date, how about all of Zach's sneakers? He keeps rolling out every single time we see him, I think with either a new pair of sneakers or some pair of sneakers on. Like, he's got to be a sneaker collector. Even he's going through the photo shoot on the date, and I think every single suit that he came out with, he had a different pair of sneakers on. Like, did they have a custom rack of sneakers just for Zach for that photo shoot? But anyways, let's get into that date. It started off quite awkward. Really, most of Tayshia and Zach's moments have been awkward. He seems just like an awkward, nervous guy. And also, on top of that, it's a wedding shoot. And we all know Tayshia has been married before and divorced. So it kind of seemed like she was having, a little bit of wedding flashbacks and some reservations just about that moment. And, we kept hearing Tayshia say that Zach was making her feel comfortable, but he really wasn't doing anything. Like, he was just kind of like agreeing with her and smiling and occasionally kissing with her. Like, he wasn't really going out of his way to make her more comfortable. I think it's one of those situations where really Tayshia just feels comfortable with him. Then we got into the evening portion of the date. Got to see Zach really start pouring his heart out. He was talking about addiction, talk about being married before, and how it ended so poorly for him, ending up going in rehab, and then many years later ending up working on the board of that rehab. So he's had a long journey throughout his life, and I think that was something Tayshia really appreciated. For whatever reason, like, when Tayshia is with Zach, she just really lights up. She's trying to tease the smiles out of Zach because she loves to see it, and there absolutely is a connection forming there, and it's getting deep quite quickly. All right, our fifth thing from tonight's episode, they finally started to step up the date quality tonight. We're still not at the level of a normal Bachelor season, but it was very refreshing not to have all of our dates just be like sports ball in the pool. I really appreciated getting to see Zach and Tayshia do the photo shoot, get to go on the Ferris wheel ride, which I'm assuming like they had somebody come in and throw that thing up right beside the resort. So it's good to have them stepping their date up. Parts of the haunted house were a little bit cheesy, but that is still one of the best dates that we have seen this year, just in terms of quality of the actual date. Also, the group date with everybody doing all the art was also a step up from our normal group date. So I appreciate that and really hope that we continue to trend in that direction as we get deeper into the season. All right, lastly, right before we go, I'm just going to hit you with one quick little bonus thing, and that is JoJo replacing Chris Harrison. It wasn't really delved into much this episode, but the reason is Chris Harrison left the bubble. I believe the reason was to go and take one of his children to their first day of college, and basically he went and did that. He'll have to re-quarantine before returning to the show, so I'm not sure how long that will be. So we probably have a week or two of JoJo filling in as the host. All right, everybody, as always, thank you so much for watching, and until next week, we'll see you later.